Teresa, you know we took attendance this week,
Where's your roll book, Clark?
and you and Gentry weren't there, but I see you here today. It's all that matters, right? As long as you're showing up for the game. We talked today about this is a game of action, a game of responses, and one of the things coming out of the Alabama game that we felt was we didn't play Vanderbilt football all the way to the finish, and the turnovers were one thing, but just our responses there at the end. This needs to be a team that's undaunted, that is resilient, and again, a game of action, a game of responses. We need to win the responses. We control that, and today was a reminder that this is a team game, and it takes all three phases to win games like this. And I felt like, what do you say about our offensive efficiency early? Again, Tim Beck and his staff, the offense, the players, to score touchdowns against a really good defense, and to be able to move the ball the way they did, to create distance between us and them. Really proud of them. Huge score. Their field goal at the end of half. Huge drive to start the second half. And then defensively, I think there was a lot to like about forcing field goals. Obviously, there were a lot of ways we could close that game out and make it easier on ourselves, but giving up explosive plays and explosive touchdowns was not one of those. And so the explosive touchdown was tough, and we need to tackle better in that situation. I thought the call was right, and we didn't down the ball. And this is a good LSU team. They have explosive skill players, and they made a great play there. Jordan Matthews' play to down the ball that broke out there late, and our defense forcing a field goal was a huge momentum moment for us. And so really proud of the way our defense closed that game out. When the offense took on some water there, some of that was self-imposed, but we got off schedule offensively. We stopped driving the ball. Our defense, played shutdown football, and it started up front. I thought our D-line played really well, and then special teams there at the end with a huge return to give us some space, to put us in a great starting position, to at least go up 2 scores with a field goal. And I thought the way we managed the end of the game, we were able to kneel it out. Anytime you do that, it's a good day. So really good LSU team, really well coached, and today was our day. And I think a lot of that had to do with how we responded, how we stayed together, and how we played Vanderbilt football.
Clark, it maybe says the most about today's win, the fact that Vanderbilt is now bowl eligible, and that's not the headline today?
I don't know. I don't deal a lot in the headlines. I think ultimately we have a lot of season left. We're going to celebrate this win. I think we've earned the right to celebrate it. But this game won't define our season, and there's a lot more for this team to accomplish. Tomorrow we'll shift focus on Missouri, and that'll be a tough challenge for us, but that is tomorrow's issue. Today's about this team and this program and taking another step, and I'll let the headlines be what the headlines are. That's your job.
We'll go in the front to Steve.
Clark, in a game where nobody punted until the fourth quarter, you were pretty aggressive on fourth down. You had that one late in the third quarter, and Diego pulls out a Houdini type of play, and you end up going down and scoring again. Just how big of a moment was that for him to create something for you that gave you some cushion that was the difference?
Yeah. We wanted to play to win this game, and that means that you have to trust the players in those situations. Obviously, we had the 4th and 1 that we got stopped on earlier that I believe the defense forced a field goal off that, which that's a huge moment too. That's again an example of responding the right way and independent of the circumstances, playing Vanderbilt football and forcing a kick there. But the 4th down conversion you're referencing, there's in my world, there's one person alive that can make that play, and that's Diego Pavia. And he evaded rush, he bought time, he found MK caught it and did what he needed to do with it. And those are the plays that win you games. And again, you go back to the Alabama game and say we didn't make those plays, but today we did, and we're good enough when we make those plays and we play the right way. We can beat anyone we play against.
Billy?
Obviously, Cedric Alexander goes down, didn't play much of that second half. What did you think about the way MK Young, came through there late in the game, and the offensive line obviously, opened up bigger holes there in the second half?
we talk about wearing the opponent out, and I always credit the offensive line. I thought Bryce Henderson, there was a corner fire that he mollied and was able to collect on Diego's touchdown. Obviously, MK had the big run there to get us in field goal range that ultimately allow us to ice the game out. And Seti had some good runs too. Seti's such a good player. That was cramping for him, and so he was able to get back available. But we had 230. Is that 9? I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. Is it 239 yards rushing? What do you say about that? I mean, that is, Diego, MK, Seti. Obviously, we got Trey a couple times there too. 239 yards rushing. It's really good defense, and I guess you can't go there without also bringing up Robert Steiner, who's just been such a difference maker. He and his staff, and so I'm happy for those guys.
Gentry.
Just following up on Teresa's though, did you realize this was win 6 bowl eligibility before she said that?
I knew that, but it's just not been something that we thought about. I mean, it's I don't know. There's just we have higher goals, and it's not that I don't want to sound like I'm not excited about the fact that we've secured a postseason bid, but we're really interested in taking this as far as we can.
And also, just offensively, Clark, are you guys to a point now where your game plan isn't necessarily dependent on who it is you're playing, that you're able to do what you're going to do no matter who the opposition is, and you feel that way?
I think, obviously, the game plan's always dependent on who we're playing, but I think what you're saying is that we feel like we can dictate terms on the field, and I would say yes to that. That we feel like we're going to get in good designs to attack the opponent's structure, but we feel like when we step on the field, we tip the field, and if we play with the right attitude and we're physical, that again, the game honors toughness, and if we're the tougher team, that we're going to be able to separate. So there's a lot of confidence on that side of the ball, and it's well deserved.
We'll go back to Joe.
Clark, a lot of prospects here this week. I know that a lot of people saying this was one of the biggest weekends Vanderbilt's had. What does it mean? I know there's a lot of players and coaches after the game, talking to them and things like that. What does a win like this mean, an atmosphere like this mean in that regard? And just how much momentum are you sensing overall, the big picture even beyond this season, from what you guys are doing on the field?
It was a great environment. It's great to have people here and support. The people that we recruit in this program believe in what we're doing, and so there's no surprise. And again, internally, we expect to win. That's just a part of our DNA. So it's great to be able to follow through on that and to play in a certain way that, again, is exciting for people to grab onto. And I think everyone can see now where this thing can go. It's really important that we not so much worry about the momentum now. We'll think about that after the season. I think what's important now is we celebrate this game and we move on from it tomorrow, because we'll have another great challenge next week, and we'll have a chance to go further towards our goals, and we'll save the big picture stuff for after the season.
We'll go second row here in the blue.
Hey, Clark, Pete Nakos from On 3. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Diego says a lot of things, but preseason he said, he wanted to win a national title this year. And maybe to some people who don't know Diego, it draws a lot, but he was dead serious. What's it say about winning a game like this and now actually being in a position to contend for the college football playoff, to make an SEC title game? What's that say about Diego? But what's it also say about, the work that you've done to put Vanderbilt in a spot where you guys are seriously going to be in this conversation?
There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears poured into this. Candace Lee's in here. I mean, she's a huge part of that, right? And you can't talk about our success without starting with leadership. And she's been such an incredible leader for us and opened up opportunities for us to have these moments. And so credit goes to her. Obviously, Chancellor Dearmeyer, who's been just an incredible visionary and is so aggressive in his vision for what Vanderbilt can be as a university, and certainly our football program is a part of that. So we start there. This is a program that cares about each other, and that shows up in the way we invest every day and the way we work, and we have deep belief. And we say in our program, belief is a practice. So you know the level of belief you carry when you watch people show up to work, and the length that they're willing to go in effort, the amount of sacrifice and suffering that they'll take on because they believe in what's possible. And I think to a man in our program, these players and coaches show up with deep belief and work really hard for the results. And you mentioned Diego, and obviously Diego's a huge part of the heartbeat of our program. And his confidence is our confidence, and he believes in manifesting, and so he gets sound bites. But at the end of the day, he doesn't say anything that we don't all believe and we don't all act on every single day. And so we celebrate him, but this is the story of a team and a program that is finding external validation through internal investment. And the deeper we go in care, the stronger the brotherhood will be, the more we'll be able to reach for these results and have fun like we did today. Today was just a fun day to compete. We didn't hold it too tight. They played loose, played free, and we get to celebrate as a result.
Graham, and then Chris Harris.
Coach Cole Spence, typically more so of a blocking tight end. Today, he's your guys' leading receiver with 56 yards and a touchdown. Just what did you make of his performance and just the way he was able to come up so big for you guys?
Graham, I'm gonna fight back against the idea that he's a blocking tight end. I think Cole would fight you too on that one. What he does is he plays the game the right way, and he does his job. And whatever the role is that winning requires of him, he does it with effort, energy, and the right attitude. And when you play the game the right way, when you prepare the right way, the game rewards you. And today was his day, and he came through. And it was, sometimes the design's right. All he has to do is catch it, turn, and run. That first third down conversion, that was a big time play. That looked like an NFL catch, and I'm excited for more of that from him. I think we've seen his production start to tick up as the season's worn on, and we're going to need him, because obviously Eli Stowers is well known, and Cole's moment is next, and you're starting to see that surface. So really happy for him, and I can't give him enough credit for the work he's put into this season, and again, coming through in clutch moments for us today.
Chris Harris, and then Julian in the back.
Clark, you talk about having bigger goals. How rewarding is it as a coach to come back from a loss like you guys had, have a couple of weeks of practice to rebound, and then have a win like this? How big is it, not only from a practical standpoint with the numbers, but also you continue to talk about the belief, all of those things that go into this win today?
I think we got to be careful because the results don't define us. And so, we don't linger too long. The Alabama game was tough. Obviously, the bye week gave us a little extra time to kind of soak in it. But you experience the season in 5 months. You prepare for the season for 365 days. And we went through formation as a team starting in January, and we started kind of entrenching and ingraining these messages and this vision for what the season could be. And we know one result doesn't define where we're headed, and so I think the time spent setting that course, January, February, through spring, through summer, gives us the opportunity here to just not be something special or be something different, but just be Vanderbilt football. Just live the way we live, play the way we play, relate the way we relate, and I think good things come from that. So we don't have to be anything other than who we are, and we'll continue to do that no matter the results. This is about response and celebration, and then getting back to work.
Julian, and then last question to Joey.
Clark, you saw Diego. He hit the Heisman pose after that touchdown. Do you think he should be in that conversation more than he is?
I didn't see the pose, but yeah, I think he's the best player in college football. That's what I think. So you can't watch him play and not realize what a game changer he is. And there are a lot of good players. There's only a handful to me that can take a game over, and he's one of those. And so he deserves all the attention, all the credit. I mean, he's such a, he's a confident guy, but he's humble in his process. His greatest trait is his curiosity, and I mean, he's a dog. That's what he is, and he shows up every time. And I love him, and I'm glad he's with us. And yeah, I mean, I hope for everything for him, including Heisman.
Last question, Joey.
LSU had the ball with a couple minutes left to go and could have tied it if they went down and drove down the field. You guys forced the 3 and out there. What does that say about the defense and them living up to that moment?
It was huge, and I thought we played really well on the defensive line. I thought they set a tone for us. Mark Davis also had a good game. I was happy to see him out there coming back from a hamstring issue. And, we needed the defense at that moment, right, because we had stalled out offensively. So there are going to be things we want back, things we need to clean up. The early 3rd and long conversion, we could go through play by play here, but I thought the way the defense held the line there at the end was courageous. It represented our program, and it was their moment to shine, and they stepped up and did that. And so, again, credit to them and Steve Gregory and that staff. And, again, I'll go back to what we talked about. This is a game of action, a game of response. They responded the right way and stepped into belief and were able to shut down a really talented opponent in a moment